Good morning, everyone. Welcome back to another free pre-market broadcast. This is the exact same process we go through every single day at 8:45 at Investors Undergrad. If you're watching on X, please hit that like and retweet button. If you're watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. The more likes, etc., that we get, the more free content that we can do. All right, now just before we get started, this video is for information and education purposes only. These are not buy, sell, recommendations, etc. If you're happy, then please continue to watch. Now, I think Nate is desperate to talk about his new quantum computer. So, Nate, take it away.
All right, guys, I'll be short and sweet. Focus today for me is quantum, of course. I am hopeful that we get some good rebounds. I do think that a lot of people have got a little bit excited about this NVIDIA quantum day and all that stuff. We already know Jensen's thoughts. Could he do an about face? Could he do a complete 180 and say something, beneficial? Maybe. But at the same time, I had compared this to, I posted it the other day, CGC. CGC did a very similar move where it caught shorts off guard into a Friday. And it really causes a lot of shorts to have to come into the market and hedge and push these stocks further than they potentially should, just because they kind of have to come into the market and make a quick decision. And with that comes obviously a boost in the stock price. And with that comes confidence from the longs that they are making the right decision, right? Because price typically gives people confidence that they're right, regardless of whether they are or not in the long run. So for me, something like QBTS, I'm looking, at this point, anything like a VWAP kind of clear out or using this 1060s line. Just to go back to yesterday real quick and just to, kind of drive home a point. As you guys know, I love putting lines, not a ton of lines, but just really the big ones, where the most congestion is, where the most like the tug of war between long and shorts is. And so yesterday in the close, we had a great opportunity. And that opportunity was you're either going to have a high day reject, which is, what Emil likes to talk about a lot, or you have a high day clear out, right? So we knew that 1195 was a key level. That was a discussion point in the room yesterday. And so we're either going to go right up to that prior level and reject as we did, or sometimes you see a nice clear out over 12, sits back under, and then we want to see 1195 confirm. So what that does is you had a lot of short cover into the close yesterday. So people that were short left the trade. And then people might have been buying for the breakout for 12, 13, whatever, for a gapper and end up on the wrong side. So we have a lot of that stuff kind of puking out this morning, which gave us the trade and the trade thesis. The idea was basically all pops, failed follow through versus the VWAP level. And of course, when it flushes out, one of the things that I always have to work on myself is, it's okay to have a bias, but when price action does exactly what you think, and when things flush, make sure you're locking in. Don't force your bias to continue to play out. If things start to slow down, if things start to go sideways, go ahead and lock them in. You can always re-add into the trade. So for me, I'm pretty much mostly out of this, probably about 90% or so. But what I'm looking for is some sort of boost towards the open, ideally. Maybe the imbalance does it. Maybe it just slams. We'll see. But again, just like I talked about the 1195 level, 1060s, 960s are a big level. 1060s is just because you can kind of see that's the congestion area, the support level yesterday. So in my opinion, if it were to rocket up towards that level, I can have confidence that there's a good chance they're going to meet supply in that area. And so the same thing, RGTI, 1080s has been a big level that we've talked about. Anybody that had watched the last video that I did, we went over that in depth. You can kind of see how the congestion areas yesterday, 1150, 1160s, and then 1080s being the base, same concept. And then obviously on QUBT, the other trade that I took this morning, again, using sort of the VWAP as the guide. Where would I be wrong? If VWAP started to firm back up and grind, I'm going to be moving on from that trade, right? And otherwise, if it stays heavy, I'll be scaling. And then when it opens up, I'm going to go ahead and reduce my position size. So again, same concept, QUBT, QBTS, and RGTI. Higher the better. Clear out VWAP, A plus opportunity, but we'll see if it even gets there. And then XPEV had earnings. We had a nice clear out again. 2560 level was from prior day congestion area. Nice clear out this morning, and it's since been pretty heavy. Currently fading that a little bit. That's really the main focus for me every day. I always watch, like Palantir and NVDA. I like to trade those with the market. I took a small placeholder this morning. I already moved on. I'm watching for SPY. SPY levels have been really, really good lately. And the market's doing exactly what it should at the key levels, that it's testing. So for me, like I have mentioned on X the other day, my thought was maybe short-term around that 565, 570 level. And then we start to kind of see some failed follow through momentum and it just feels different this time. But like I also disclosed, most of the time when I think it feels different, I should just buy and hope. I'm watching RGC not really too exciting for me, especially with the wicks. This is the kind of stuff you can get in trouble on when we have such clean moves on quantum. There's no real point to be messing with these kind of things. So the only other one is what can I think of it? CRVO. And this one, to me, I'm not suggesting it's going to go wild, but even right now, there's an 89,000 share offer, 1016. Nobody cares. In my opinion, that's them just kind of painting a picture, making shorts kind of come in. To me, this tape reminds me of DWTX, which we had recently. Obviously, the same promoters, and it also reminds me of RGC. Not saying it's going to do the same thing, but what I am saying is that shows me all the warning signs that I need to say, hey, be patient, wait for it to actually clear out, wait for it to actually fail. Because if I jump in front of it, I could be, 50 cents, $1, $2 too early. So no thanks on that. So main focus, quantums, and the rest will be kind of secondary. Market 565.40 on SPY is key. And then I'd be trading SMCI, Palantir, and NVIDIA off of those. So I think, who am I going over to? Josh, I believe.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. First thing that I'm looking at is PLTR. It's kind of came in to test this declining 20-day moving average, which is 89.90. I kind of like using this as a guide, to short against. I think this could, test under 80, especially if the Qs and the SPY stay heavy, which they kind of have been, even though we've had small rallies along the way. I don't think we're in some type of, panic by the dip mode. So I'm going to keep using, I'm going to have the Qs right next to it and the SPY right next to it. And I'm going to use kind of pops as, an opportunity to sell into, until that thesis is proved wrong. Spending is good. Spending's going down from our government. Defense spending, that hasn't changed. And it's been a former leader for the past 2 years. So to think that it's going to do the exact same thing this year, I just, a lot of the times the former leaders of the past 1 or 2 years turn over. So I'm going to be looking as a short. NVIDIA, kind of the same thing. The price is just different on that declining moving average, which is 122.26. I think I'm going to be looking, pops to fade until the Qs and the SPY firm up. Like for example, if the SPYs and Qs firm up, post open, and these things are grinding past yesterday's highs, then the thesis for today would kind of become invalid. And I would have to wait for these trades to kind of pan out. But until then, that's where I'm looking. And on the other side of things, China is a little bit extended. When you look at the yen, just a huge move yesterday. I don't love buying sector related momentum after the sector ETF just had a huge day up. but I will continue to look there throughout the week. The name that I'm looking at next, Baba was yesterday, but Futu is today and for the rest of the week. It's just kind of tightening up. And if it gets to the other side of this range, you could have a breakout, 120, 130 and higher. If China continues to agree. I just kind of like the uncorrelated trade from U.S. markets right now. I think, the U.S. stocks are pretty heavy for the most part. All of the former momentum stocks, and China is kind of doing its own thing. Yes, like XPEV and LI have pulled back, but if you look at the bigger picture, like they're all, hanging within trend. Higher lows are being made, new highs are being made. So that's kind of where I want to be focused for the future versus stocks that are on the other side of their momentum trend and they're getting heavier. So that's where I'm at today, and I'll catch you guys in the room. And I'm passing this to who? Passing this to Emil or Gina, one of them.
Yeah. Okay. Morning, everyone. So I am looking at the TAGR, China name related. Like Josh said, as long as momentum is going to be there, I am going to watch this one for a long. Yesterday been a decent one and held up the trend, and this morning gapping up. So as long as it's going to stay above and build up above 8, I'm still considering this one as a good buying candidate for a long trade. Same goes to SoFi, which had a dive and then pushing to end of day. Right now it's looking pretty weak, but if we'll manage to catch a bid and doesn't violate yesterday's lows, I'm still keeping my long bias on it. So ideally, as you can see here, yesterday broke out this range. So if it's going to manage to go and have 1 or 2 sideways days, I think this could be a decent, long potential. But obviously, market overall has to hold this trend, and so far it doesn't look like it's too strong in pre-market. But we shall see. Our Reddit, RGTI, we had a spike on the news yesterday and fell right away. So to me, this one doesn't look too healthy, and I'm short bias on it. I would like to see some pops. Pretty much anything towards 130 would be a decent short candidate in my book. So not interested here, but if it's going to reclaim red to green and slightly higher, I'm going to looking to build a short position. Obviously, quantum names, QBTS. It's the main one I'm watching. I'm looking more or less at previous levels. Yesterday, been short this one in pops, but been pretty strong into end of day. So didn't do much, but this morning kind of fell. So any push towards 1060, since kind of lost this level, I'm going to watch even at smaller pops. So 10 VWAP from pre-market or 1050, anything towards that area, I'm going to be interested in a short. Then looking at RGC, nothing here, but if it's going to reclaim after our highs and and is going to have a push towards 35 and fail there, definitely I'm going to be interested in a short. The range is pretty good. So, but again, I would like to see some sort of exhaustion first rather than chase it or getting involved in a range. So not looking for that. And the last one is CRVO. Pretty much like what Nate said, not interested here. And keep in mind, this is a multi-day runner at this point. So we know that these can be more resilient than most people think. Yes, here it's closing the gap and might have some sort of supply, but not really interested at this level. I would really like to see how it's going to behave after the open. So I'm going to let it grind and watch the moment it's going to break the trend based on previous levels. So like pretty much yesterday did, grind it, and then broke the trend here and was at least offer a decent backside. Didn't work out in the end, but that's what I'm going to pay attention at today also. So yeah, that's it for me today, guys. Good luck, and Juraj, it's going to be next.
Yep. Good morning. So I want to start off by saying that, my extended hours watch list is extremely light. There's really nothing on it. I'm going to go over what I see, though, so far over here. But as for the overall market, I wouldn't be shocked to see another leg lower, but I'm a long trader. So, obviously, if we don't, reverse and reject over here, then that would be better. But same thing as like the 2DLV setup, we're getting, this big volume coming in, we're fading, and we get this 2-day push, especially into this declining 10-day average on decreasing volume on that push. So, if we start to roll back over today, so be it. Most of my watch is smaller cap, pretty garbage names. So just getting into it, NEO was initially on my watch list last night. They had this PR at midnight, and it's gapping a little higher here. I kind of want to just see some volume come in off open and kind of reclaim the 530, 535 level. That would gain my interest for continuation there. And as for these three flagged names, there's just names with PRs this morning, the way that we've been getting CRVO and GV and RGC and kind of those big moves. I just want to keep these on radar, but there's really no interest until volume actually comes in, maybe 9:45, 10 o'clock. It hits, these trend lines for each and soaks above that. Another thing to note, these really have no volume, but going back and looking at what CRVO, GV, RGC, and the other ones, they also had similar, really, really zero volume before that first day push. So this is just an in case kind of situation. I have my alerts there. I want to see it break and build, volume come in, and maybe we get, the big push over there, like those other names I mentioned. As for some sort of continuations or liquidity traps, SSP had earnings out back here. They beat on both. Good volume came in. We got this multi-day push. Now we're just pulling back on decreasing volume. So if that 270s could reclaim and build, then I'll watch for some sort of liquidity trap setup. ARBB, just tightening up here. I want to see the 10-day and that 72 key trend line reclaim and hold for potential continuation higher. That's the only way that I'd actually be interested, is if the 70s kind of reclaim, 72, 73 reclaim and just build and soak. And volume's pretty much drawing up here, and we're just tightening up. So that's going to be on watch. And then LMND, Lemonade, the insurance, Root's already, just kind of just showing some great relative strength. Lemonade's just holding in this range now. I want to see that trend line over here that I have just break and build for some sort of continuation there. This is holding up kind of extremely well, given, the market. And every day, names are getting added and taken off, but not the most exciting basket here. But this is what I got on watch, and I'll pass it back over to Sam.
Brilliant. Thank you, Judah. Thank you, Nate. Thank you, Josh. Thank you, Emil, as well. Great watch list, as always. If you guys have made it this far, then yeah, you should definitely check us out, because this is the exact same process that we go through every single morning at Investors Underground. And obviously, these gentlemen, everyone will be, updating their trade plans as the day progresses as well. If you're interested, email me at sam@investorsunderground.com or DM me on X, Trades Turbo. All right, cool. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Trade them well today, guys, and hopefully see a lot of you in the room.